When I heard Miss 45 was going to get the Arrow 4K Blu-ray box set treatment, I was ecstatic. Miss 45 is directed by the great Abel Ferrara, who you might know for the films such as Bad Lieutenant or King of New York, two of my personal favorite films of all time. His first film being The Driller Killer, which is an alright horror exploitation film that kind of felt like Abel just got a bunch of friends together and they made a film. You know, he knew some attractive women, he knew some people who sang in a punk rock band, and they had a drill in a nice apartment. I believe he was in the adult film industry prior to that, but Mr. Ferrara, don't quote me on that, right? But we're not talking about those. We're talking about Miss 45, his second feature film. And I gotta say, it's a banger. It stars Zoë Lund. That wasn't her name back then, but I only know Zoë Lund. I can't pronounce the other one. As Thana, or Thana. Thana. I think it's Thana. And she is a mute, right? And this film lives and dies by Zoe's performance. She does such an amazing job as Thana that you believe she's a real person. She believes she's a real woman. The same issues she is brought upon are still stuff people talk about to today. And this is a powerful film, right? At the back here, it compares it to Taxi Driver and Death Wish. And, that is true. This is a vigilante film. But because she is a mute, you don't ever know what she's thinking. We're never in Zoe's head. We never hear Zoe's voice. We never see her writing in a journal like Travis Bickle, and we can see his inner thoughts. We never have, a person come up to her and say, hey, maybe if we start killing the evil men, life would be better. No. Everything is done through her own actions. Zoë Lund does this amazing performance where, again, she can't say what's on her mind. It's all physical. Her actions, her facial expressions, what she's wearing, how she writes, all that adds to the character of Thana. Thana. So the story is Thana here, the mute, who is kind of like a mouse at the beginning, right? She is a mouse, and people in her work, and she works as a seamstress for this sleazy guy, and he has nothing but women working for him. Yeah, I think you're supposed to take that he's taking advantage of them, and she's just very meek, and you can't even say soft-spoken. She can't speak. She's more than soft-spoken. So she is this meek person. She looks like a mouse. She doesn't try to dress attractive, doesn't wear makeup. She's an attractive woman. Zoë Lund is just naturally attractive, but she's not really trying to stand out. But one day, one very, 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 very bad day, she gets attacked twice. Once on the street and once in her own home. Now, the first attacker is actually played by the director, Abel Ferrara. And you know who Abel Ferrara looks back then. Like I said, if you watch Driller Killer. Oh, he was the star of Driller Killer as well as the director. And the second attacker, which as an audience member you knew already broke into her home, she kind of fights back, right? She fights back and she kills that second attacker. But anyone who's been broken into their homes, someone who has been violated as she has been, she starts living a paranoia life. She gets a gun and she walks around with the gun. And her second, a second person that she, kills was this man who was chasing after her after she deposed her. She chopped up the first man, the second attacker into that she killed, first person she killed, into body pieces, and she's put them in the refrigerator, and she just goes out into the world and puts the trash anywhere. It's pretty funny. And she gets more and more bold as she goes, but this is like her first time, and she just puts it on the side of the road. And this man who was a cat caller on the side of the road, tries to get her attention, and this guy, he just doesn't know how to take a no or take a hint. It's because Thana here starts to run, and she just fires at him and kills him. And then after that is when she becomes more emboldened, empowered, and she becomes the Miss 45 persona by transforming into this attractive woman, a seductress, but kind of like a seductress, like, oh, this is what they want me to be, and I'm just gonna go and hunt down the bad men, until she becomes filled with she becomes mad by the end of the film. But I'm trying not to spoil too much, because I really want you guys to pick this film up. This film was a great release. It was released by Arrow Video, and they did such a great job on this transfer. This was kind of lost physically. It's not lost media, because I watched this film for the first time on YouTube, I believe. And it was on Tubi and stuff like that. But physically and looking this good, it was gone. I think the versions I watched before was edited down as well. This is a brutal film. So if you're one for the faint of heart, if you're triggered, especially the two attack scenes are not easy to watch. The first one is just this brutal, intense. It's not that long, but it's boom, in and out.
Very poor choice of words.
And then the second one, it's a little longer, because it's adding the suspense that she's gonna fight back. But yeah, Zoë Lund, fantastic job. Hey, don't worry, the review's not over yet. This is just a little halftime report. Drink some water, drink some coffee as you got it. I don't know how long this is going. But I want to say thank you for watching. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I'm at 184 subscribers. Yay, thank you so much. I am deeply appreciated. I'm trying to get to 200 before the end of January. So let's make that happen. I'm Jack. This is Manelli Studios Entertainment. I do videos on movies, boutique labels, Criterion, Arrow, Kino. And I want to do a lot of comic book stuff and manga stuff as well, and anime. I love all that stuff, pop culture. So with that being said, please keep enjoying the video, and back to you, Jack. Again, by the end, I don't know if all her kills are justified, but the start of it, you kind of are on her side, right? She's been through a whole lot, and you witness it. Like, this girl is just living her life, not trying to be noticed, essentially. And when she is finally noticed, it's in a very, very bad and awful matter. And it's awful, right? This film is, it's not hiding that fact. It's upfront about it. It's crude. It's crude. And again, if you're not into that, with who is, but if you're not going to find the deeper artistic value of this, I understand, right? This is a schlocky, exploitative film, but a schlocky, exploitative film that is greatly made, greatly written, and has a point, right? That's why it's a step above other films of this vein. That's why they're comparing it to something like Taxi Driver, which is one of the greatest films of all time, and Death Wish, one of the greatest vigilante films of all time. I want to talk a little bit about the director, Abel Ferrara. Ferrara, I'm sorry, can never pronounce that name right. And his Catholic imagery, as you see here, there's Zoe right there in a nun outfit kissing a bullet that happens in the film. And Ferrara loves the profane, sacred, with combining it with like a schlocky sleaziness to it. Like it comes out of nowhere, and you have this image of a nun with a gun. And I know there's like nun exploitation out there, but like this feels profane, and like it shouldn't be happening. But there's something behind it, right? Before this, at the beginning of the film, you can see Thana as this sacred woman, this untouched woman, and then she gets violated. And then now at the end of the film, she is a nun who is supposed to be a sacred woman, but now she's doing the violations. There's something to that, right? There's something profound about that. And Ferrara does that a lot, especially if you watch Bad Lieutenant. And I don't want to spoil that movie, but there's some crazy Catholic imagery in that film. And again, Ferrara must like that stuff. He does live in Rome, so probably some Catholicism in him. So yeah, great stuff. Ferrara does great. This is one of my favorite films of his. I don't know if I like it more than Kingdom of New York or Bad Lieutenant. I think those films are masterpieces. Kingdom of New York is one of the greatest gangster films of all time. Bad Lieutenant is kind of like an extension of this film. Actually, Zoë Lund co-wrote that film with, I think Abel Ferrara wrote that, or was it Nicholas St. John? But I'm going to talk about Nicholas St. John shortly. But yeah, Zoë Lund, who's in that film as well. And that's another dirty, grimy film, just like Mrs. 45 right here. So if you like Bad Lieutenant, you'll definitely like Miss 45. Also, I didn't come up with this. Mr. Quentin Tarantino did, and he has this great little thing about Abel Ferrara, about how when he saw this film back in the day and he thought of Ferrara as the next Scorsese. Oh yeah, I forgot. I want one more thing to say before that. So that Catholicism imagery does remind me a lot of Scorsese. Sorry, Mr. Tarantino, interrupting you, but the ending of this film of Zoe wearing the nun outfit is very, very, very similar to the ending of Boxcar Bertha, where you have one of the main characters crucified on a boxcar, and that profane imagery, like, oh, is there a deeper meaning behind it, or is it just imagery? Right? It's up to you to decide. I can hear either way. Oh, it's deep. You gotta look deep within it, or nah, it's just imagery. It's just cool, or it's something, right? It's just something to look at. Kind of like with Neon Genesis Evangelion, where there's all the crosses and angels and Lilith, and is there a deeper meaning? I don't know. Maybe. Back to Mr. Tarantino. So Mr. Tarantino was talking about Abel Ferrara as like the next Scorsese, and then as he goes through the years, the China Girl, and then King of New York, he's like, oh no, this is not the next Scorsese, it's the next Sergio Leone. And these are kind of like opera films, opera, street, gangster, gritty films. And especially with King of New York, that's there, right? That's totally there. That is operatic as heck. And that's here too. Like I said, Zoe's a mute. And inherently, that's either going to be great or bad. There's going to be no middle ground. And again, Zoë Lund here did such a phenomenal job. It elevates the film out from exploitation, out from its brethrens of exploitation, because it becomes cinema. And I'm not saying those other films can't be cinema. Of course they can be. But this one just becomes a step above, because you gotta watch it with intent. You gotta watch it with deep eyes. You can't be on your phone scrolling and only look up when an action scene is happening. No, stuff is happening all the time with this film, and you just have to take a closer look at it, right? You got, when she, like I said earlier, her personality changed, her clothes changed, and then how she writes changed. At the beginning, she's writing cursive, and by the end, it's just standard writing, right? It's blunt writing. This film is so good. The screenwriter is Nicholas St. John, and he's worked on every Abel Ferrara film you like. So, if you like every Abel Ferrara film, you'll probably like this one. The cinematographer, James Lemon, and he's worked with Abel Ferrara for a couple of his films. He worked with Fear City and the TV film The Gladiator. But then I don't know him from those, but I know the other films. The films of William Luskin, who James here was the cinematographer for Maniac Cop 1, 2, and Vigilante, which again is that same vein as this. Very gritty films, exploitation, films with meaning behind them. Great stuff. Great stuff. Great cinematography. Beautiful imagery. And I gotta say, the editing's done really well, and the music is phenomenal. Music is phenomenal. Again, it has to be, because half the movie there's no dialogue, right? So it's all that same song that pops up. Very, very powerful music. Gotta get it. Gotta get this. Now I'm gonna do like a little unboxing, right? So here's the cover. Side. And back. I don't know if that's in focus, but pause if you want or not. There you go. I don't know if that worked. And that's in black. Beautiful. Beautiful spines. Got the red spine and then the black from the nun. Then it opens up like this, and it's the same image. But going back on this, if you can tell, there's some like roughness to it. It's like faded a little, giving it that grindhouse feeling. And then it's the same image of the nun kissing the bullet, and then again the profane with the slock, right? It's 45. The movie and a book. Oh, and a poster. So this is the reversible cover. I put that on because I kind of like not having the same thing, like 3 images of the same one. It's kind of boring. I like the movie and the preview. What's the preview? The Birthday. I think that's a Jordan Peele's favorite film. And then for prosperity's sake, the other artwork. But again, I like this one better. Just tangentially, I guess. I like both of them, but again, I just do it for the different sake. I gotta make sure it's right. And then we got this great booklet right here. Many essays. So Zoë Lund, like I said, worked on Bad Lieutenant. She actually passed away in 1999. So, yeah, she was like a fire that burned bright. And she has some of her writings in here. And some writings on the films itself. And about Abel Ferrara. Reviews. Views on the film. And a great little... Yeah, like Zoe here has like 3 essays, and a great one-pager. Zoë Lund, Writer's Muse, and Rebel. A little excerpt about her life, about her influences. Great stuff. I also love that poster as well. Yeah, great stuff, great book. Arrow Video does great quality. Great quality. That's, I believe that's Bad Lieutenant. Great stuff. And then it comes with this poster. It feels very similar to the poster that I got with the TMNT box sets. Yeah, very similar material. Hope that doesn't get me striked here on YouTube. Great box set. So yeah, buttload of special features. Buttload.
Very poor choice of words.
Great packaging, great everything. This is, again, a film, I think 1981, an exploitation film from 1981 that has such great treatment. Again, but you know, I don't know if every film should get this. I know Severance and Vinegar Syndrome does similar films like this, but they're films that are, you know, I get it, right? They're films that certain people like, and those certain people love those releases, but this is a kind of important release. It's a very interesting film with a deep and powerful message, not just interesting message, by a director from, like, you know, Driller Killer's all right, which has an Arrow release, but from this to like the early 2000s, so from 81 to like 99 has released nothing but bangers, you know, like the Attic, right, with Christopher Walken's in it. Dangerous Games. Like, he did so many great films, Abel Ferrara, between that time, and it kind of started with this. Again, Driller Killer's all right. It's a kind of important film, right? And to get a release like this, a prestige release with a prestige transfer, you can't really ask anything better than this. This is one of the best films that was released in the year of 2025. And if you haven't picked it up, I highly suggest you do, because it's amazing. Well, guys, that's the video. Again, I'm Jack from Manelli Studio Entertainment. I do film reviews, comic book reviews, manga reviews, and anime reviews, hopefully in the future. I am on my way to get 200 subscribers, so please subscribe. I'm at 185 right now. If you enjoy your time, please subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up button. And comment down below what your favorite Abel Ferrara film is. Like I said, Miss 45 isn't my favorite, but is definitely a great film. It's probably King of New York, which Arrow also released, but only in the UK. So, I only import if I have to. I own that on Blu-ray. If it ever gets a US release, I think Lionsgate released it, but I like Arrow Video a lot. I haven't bought anything from Lionsgate, by the way, so I don't know if I don't like them or not. But I like Arrow a lot. I love Arrow a lot. Again, they released Cruising last year, which was amazing. And if you haven't checked it out, I did my first Arrow video hunt. It would be my last video for January, sorry. And I picked up the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trilogy, and I unpacked that one. So if you're interested in that, check out that video. I'll probably leave a thing right there. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. Subscribe, hit the thumbs up. Comment down below your favorite Abel Ferrara film, and stay tuned. I have a bunch of videos in the work. So this is Jack from Manelli Studio Entertainment signing off, saying, watch some Abel Ferrara films.